point it like right at me. That's exact. Probably not that close. They're having a good time. So we're trying to be quiet because there's a panel going on up there all about belonging, because we're hosting an event with the Evergrey tonight at Makerspace. This is a dish of the day. So because it's all about belonging, I thought it'd be cool to have the guests interact with each other to kind of build the dish. So we have potatoes that we've crusted in salt dough, and we're gonna ask them to take these out of this crust, put it into a bowl, mix it with this, which is a dill, scallion, and black pepper. It's almost like a chimichurri sauce. Smash that with their forks, and then spoon that into a bowl that they're then gonna come up to me. I'm gonna be over there on that counter serving cioppino. So it's essentially like shrimp, Pacific clams, a bunch of different codfish, and just some tomatoes and garlic, fennel. What else did I put in there? Celery? What else is in here, Hubert? Cioppino.
Love.
And some love. And serve it with some crusty bread. It's gonna be fantastic. What is up, folks? You've been so frickin' patient with this show, and this is kind of gonna be the new format of how it goes, because me setting aside time with all the other things that I'm doing between Voyager's Table and the podcast and producing other videos for you folks, there's just no time to set up a proper dish of the day shoot like I used to do all those months back. So the way that we're gonna do it is I'm gonna have a videographer at the dinners or at whatever event that I'm cooking at. I'm gonna produce the dish, set some time aside during the event to describe kind of what I'm doing, have that videographer, in this case it was Joe, grab some B-roll of that so we can lay it over and you guys can see a little bit of the background of what's going on, and then this will be the breakdown after the fact. So this will probably change. This is how I feel comfortable kind of critiquing myself and keeping that ethos of Dish of the Day intact. So describing what the dish was, why I decided to create it, no recipes as the past episodes have been, and then I kind of just give a little bit of a question onto you of either how would you improve this, what questions do you have, or how can I help you get a little bit more insight into my process. So this was an interesting dish as we were thinking about the meaning of the dinner. So cultivating belonging, we started to think, what is a dish, this was Hubert and I as we were creating this menu, what is a dish that you would never make just for yourself? And I think about my friend, one of Anna's friends has us over all the time to have cioppino, and it's just her family's Italian, and so she really likes making cioppino, but she likes having us over because we can help her eat it. The other really important thing that I had to think about for this dinner was that the client's budget wasn't all that big. They needed kind of a one-pot meal that was easy to serve, that was also kind of conducive to the dinner being short in time span. Usually if I'm doing a tasting menu too, I'll have time to go out into the dining room and have a conversation with the guests, but in this case, it was just gonna be one dish. So I took advantage of that and had people come up with their individual plates after they had mixed the potato, and then they get to have a little riff with me as I'm serving their cioppino, which also worked out really well because I had the one pot, made it super fast, made sure that it had that interactive element to it, and then they got back to the table, and I didn't have to worry about the plate showing up to them kind of either not perfectly presented or messy. Another thing that I had to keep really top of mind was whenever you ask the guest to do something themselves, you always have to make sure that you are keeping in mind that sometimes people might add half of whatever you give them, right? So I made sure to instruct everyone to pour the entire amount of that sauce onto their potatoes and mix it up together, because I think the last thing you want is to set people up for failure to eat either under-seasoned food or food that doesn't have enough flavor that you would have intended to put into it. And so putting just a little bit of that sauce in there and instructing people to kind of spoon all of it into the potatoes, which are already seasoned because they've been baked in that salt crust, was kind of a hack to make sure that I am encouraging them to participate together with the food, but also making sure that it's gonna be delicious regardless of their level of skill with food. Lastly, because this was the first event we'd ever done with them in this format, I needed to make sure that my dish could be flexible. It didn't need to be served right away, it could sit for a little while, and with that idea of the cioppino base being ready, having all of the raw seafood seasoned, ready to go, and it only needed a slight poach in there in the broth, and then the potatoes being able to hold their heat inside of that salt crust, and knowing that with that hot cioppino going over the top, it was still gonna get to the table hot. I wasn't really stressed out about, I think it was 20 minutes that they went overtime, and if I would have had a plated dish that I had to plate 50 of, and then, oh my god, they're 20 minutes behind, everything's getting cold, that would have stressed me out quite a bit. And so, logistically speaking, that's also something I really want to get into more with these Dish of the Day videos, is not just the idea of the dish, but how does it get executed in a seated dinner environment. Overall, the dish got rave reviews. I had a lot of compliments come through. I don't think I would have changed anything for this format. I think if anything, I would have wished that there would have been more courses that I could have done to encourage people to have that feeling of belonging and participate together. I think it was just a really great shared experience around a table for everyone, and the conversation continued during the evening, and then they also had a great follow-up after the fact. We're doing these every month with the Evergrey, all with different themes, so I'm very excited to show you upcoming episodes where I get creatively challenged with a certain theme or idea or conversation that I can then interpret through food and then stimulate people at the table to continue the conversation. So if you have questions, if you want to know how I season my cioppino, if you want to know anything else that's related to this dish of the day, please let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to get some color on that like button. Thank you so much for your attention. My name is Justin Khanna. Have a good one. Is conversate a word? Converse.